that was an interesting Survivor Series, to say the least. I believe what took place at Survivor Series was significant enough that I need to come up here and give you guys a brief reaction video. Unfortunately, I was not able to see the pay-per-view live. I had a very last-minute family obligation that I could not get out of, and I had to deal with that, and I was not able to be home to watch Survivor Series as it happened. But hey, I got the network. I've got an iPhone. I kept it on my phone, and I kind of glanced at it from time to time, and I actually was able to see a good amount of stuff that took place. Unfortunately, I was just watching it with no volume, which is not a bad thing, considering how bad the commentary has been, but I had a pretty good idea what took place on the pay-per-view, and then as soon as I got home, I watched the pay-per-view on the network, and now I'm coming up and reacting to it. We got to start with the main event, right? I think the WWE did a really good job. I mean, lately, these pay-per-views, especially the last couple with no WWE title defenses, they're really just glorified Raws. And I actually think that's how the pay-per-view landscape is going to change. A lot of these shows are basically just going to be special events like big Raws without commercials kind of thing. With everything being available now on the WWE Network, and with them eventually getting to the point where they will be global with this thing, I think pay-per-views have really officially changed. And the card for Survivor Series and the build-up for Survivor Series and what we were all expecting from this pay-per-view, honestly, was not much. I trashed the pay-per-view in my last commentary before the Sting rumors broke. I said I really didn't give a shit who won this Team CENA versus Team Authority match. I thought it was just a bunch of bullshit, a dumb storyline, something that we're just not interested in seeing, and the WWE tried to add some spice to it by adding the stipulation to where if the Authority lost, then Authority would no longer be in power. And then when that wasn't enough, they announced that if John Cena's team lost, then every member of Team CENA, excluding John Cena, would be fired. So they were trying to really add some stipulations to this thing to where no matter who won, shit was going to change in the WWE. And then when you factor in Randy Orton, who's pretty much set to return at any minute, and the fact that the Survivor Series was in his hometown, you know, you kind of expected to see him tonight. And then over the weekend, you add the Sting rumors. All of a sudden, the WWE was going to debut Sting. And these were pretty strong rumors. We all had a pretty good feeling this was actually going to happen. And so the anticipation really builded for the main event in the last 48 hours, and I think the main event itself turned out to be a hell of a lot better than the build-up. But let's rewind to the very beginning of the show. Survivor Series opens with an Authority and Vince McMahon promo. And this is what I found just kind of strange, because Vince McMahon comes out, they're all trying to be happy with each other. Vince is proud of Stephanie and Triple H, and he's their loving father, and there's all this love going on. But yet Vince McMahon at the same time is putting his daughter and his son-in-law in jeopardy. Their livelihood is on the line because of an off-the-cuff Vince McMahon decision that he just randomly made one week to add some flavor to the Survivor Series main event. So why they're all lovey-dovey, I have no idea. And then they throw out yet another stipulation for the main event, and this one is just straight up baffling. Vince McMahon goes on to say that if Team Authority is to lose, that although they will still have their desk jobs in Stamford, Connecticut, that they will no longer be in charge of anything on television or be in charge of any other wrestler's life or livelihood or career or anything like that. And the only person that could ever reinstate them, if they were to be reinstated, is not Vince, is not Linda, it's not the board of directors. Who is it? It's John fucking Cena. Seriously? Really? Now you're just getting stupid. But it makes you wonder, why Cena? Why Cena of all people? And if the Authority does in fact lose, what kind of a situation is going to come up where John Cena would have or even need to rehire these guys back? So it almost sets up an inevitability for the future that they're eventually going to be back on TV. We know that WrestleMania 31 is right around the corner. You think Stephanie and Triple H aren't going to be around for that thing? Bullshit. They'll be back at least by then. So how are they going to come back in? If John Cena is the only one that can bring them back, what kind of a storyline are they going to do to where John Cena can actually bring them back in without turning heel? So at least I have to give the WWE credit for really keeping us guessing with the main event, even though some of their decisions and the stipulations seem completely random. There was nothing that built up to this. Vince McMahon just showed up unannounced, unadvertised a couple of Monday nights ago and announced the stipulation for the main event. There was no reasonings behind it. There was no teasing of this a few months prior. Nothing like that. It seems literally like something they came up with on the fly. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. All I know is a lot of these stipulations and decisions really seem to come out of left field. But now the stage is set for the main event, and the stakes are very high. And throughout the show, they show a couple of backstage promos with each team in the back. Triple H giving his team a pep talk, John Cena doing the same thing, so both teams are ready and ready for action. Now, as far as the match itself goes, things really didn't pick up until they started getting to the swerves. One thing I did like, though, is that they did tease Ryback and Rusev. I've mentioned before that I kind of want to see that feud. I think it would really help get Ryback over and help him out, especially since Rusev is doing this heel thing so well. They had these two guys face off in the Survivor Series match. It was awesome. Rusev eventually pinned Ryback, and I believe Luke Harper pinned Eric Rowan. They kept Rusev strong by doing a count-out. I think he botched a table spot and was injured and couldn't get back in the ring in time. Dolph Ziggler throughout all of this is surviving, and then Big Show ends up getting in the ring, surveys the situation, realizes it's 3-on-3, but he's got two team members who are severely injured, and he looks at a very strong three-man team on the other side, and he decides to turn on John Cena. I loved this. Number one, you didn't see it coming because Big Show is they just do nothing with him. You know, another heel run. A lot of people might think that that's boring, but I say a heel Big Show is much better than a babyface Big Show. As a matter of fact, when they were doing the Big Show Mark Henry match just a little while ago, I was the one that said I wish the WWE would swerve us and have Big Show turn heel instead of Mark Henry, because Big Show is a babyface. He's just a giant fucking pussy. Nobody likes him. He smiles all the time. He's crying, acting like a bitch. I don't like him at all. I think Big Show is a 7-foot fucking ape. He should be a heel. It kind of reminded me of what Kurt Angle did back in Survivor Series 2001. I was actually at that show. He was on Team Alliance, and I think halfway through the match, he realized that his team is probably not going to win, so he turned on his team in order to save his job. That's basically what they did with the Big Show there. He knocked out John Cena. John Cena gets pinned, which blew my mind. I thought for sure, no matter what happened tonight at Survivor Series, the last thing that was going to happen was John Cena getting pinned, because he's got a title match against Brock Lesnar that could be coming up as early as next month. It's either going to be that or the Royal Rumble, so you would think that John Cena would have to remain strong leading up to that. So the fact that he took a knockout punch from the Big Show and got pinned was a nice surprise for not only me, but probably a lot of Cena haters out there. So Cena's out of the match. The captain is eliminated, and Big Show then walks off, which means technically he's also eliminated because he gets counted out. That leaves Dolph Ziggler against Seth Rollins, Kane, and Luke Harper. Ziggler is a mess. He's been beaten to shit throughout the whole match. You got three completely strong guys on the other side. Two of them are twice Dolph Ziggler's size. There is no way in hell he's going to win this match. And when I was looking at this on my phone, I was thinking, oh shit, that's how they're going to end Survivor Series, with another Big Show heel turn. I even thought that even if Randy Orton interfered in this match, it still would not be enough to have Dolph Ziggler win. And I had almost dismissed the Sting rumors at this point. I was thinking to myself, yeah, he could still come out there. He could make his presence known in this match, but why? What's the reasoning behind it? So I kind of thought Ziggler was done for, but then he ends up beating Kane. Then he ends up beating Luke Harper, leaving Ziggler and Seth Rollins in the ring. Ziggler's got Rollins beat. Triple H interferes a couple of times, pulling the referee out, beating up referees, doing everything he can to make sure that Ziggler does not win this match. And then the lights go out. Sting's brand new WWE music hits. He comes out to the ring and stares down Triple H. The two of them circle each other in the ring a little bit. Triple H goes to attack him, and he hits him with the Scorpion Death Drop and pulls Ziggler on top of Rollins. Referee comes to, counts 1, 2, 3, and the authority is done. Wow, it was awesome to see Sting finally in the WWE after all this time. I saw him win his first ever world title. I remember when he came in with the bleach blonde flat top and the fucking rat tail in the back and the goddamn jacket and the face paint and all of that. The fact that he never worked for Vince McMahon in his entire life until now, until 2014, is unbelievable. With all of the swerves they threw at you in the main event and the new storyline direction that we're obviously going to be going in now in Sting's debut, you know, there's a whole bunch of unanswered questions now that lays before us, and that's what we want as wrestling fans. We want to be kept guessing. And by the way, how awesome was that for Dolph Ziggler? Hello, can you say fuck yeah? That was great. After all of that, Ziggler, of all people, he's going to be the guy that's going to be the sole survivor. He's going to end the show as the only guy that lives. That's fucking awesome. Now, I know better. I know not to get my hopes up because we've all seen what they've done with Ziggler before. We all saw what they did with Cesaro at WrestleMania, only to do nothing with him. So having Ziggler have this big moment, this big victory, overcoming these crazy odds at Survivor Series during Sting's debut could translate into absolutely nothing, but it could also translate into a little little bit more of a push for him. Triple H just a few weeks ago on Raw, kind of called him out in a half-shoot work, when he said, you're the most talented guy in the locker room. And I thought I had heard the rumors in previous years of Ziggler kind of being fed up, being sick of it. They're not doing anything with him. Maybe when his contract is up, he will leave. Maybe his contract has come up. Maybe he has been re-signed. And maybe now that he's got a fresh new deal and a fresh long road ahead of him, maybe this is WWE's way of doing more with him. So I don't know. I don't know the behind-the-scenes situation with Dolph Ziggler. All I know is that he won tonight, and I hope it means many more wins in the future because Dolph's the fucking man. Oh, and then, of course, to top everything off, one of my favorite things about the whole pay-per-view kind of came at the very end. Stephanie McMahon's performance and her breakdown was hilarious. That bitch freaked out harder than Bret Hart did when he got screwed at Survivor Series 17 years ago. Her performance was unbelievable. It's only going to be a matter of time before these guys come back. So the fact that they threw swerve after swerve at you, you didn't know if it was going to be Randy Orton, you didn't know if it was going to be Sting, you didn't know what was going to happen. I thought the ending was surprising enough to where, even though we kind of heard about Sting, we still all marked out for it because it was great. And now we all have to wonder, what does this mean for Sting? Why exactly did he interfere? Does Vince McMahon have anything to do with this? Is he acting alone? And we've all been wondering about all these possible WrestleMania matches that we could have, and we've talked about Triple H versus Sting before. Well, now I think there is a really good possibility that match could happen. This could be the tease of it. I thought it was really cool to watch Triple H and Sting stare each other down. That's a matchup that we really haven't seen. Triple H is all WWE. Sting was all WCW. They crossed paths, I'm sure, in the past when Triple H was in WCW for a brief period of time. But to have Sting come in as the guy that had never been there before, going up against Triple H, who's all WWE all the time, I think could make for an interesting matchup, and I loved the tease. So hopefully on Raw, Sting will be there, and he'll cut a promo, and he will explain himself, because we have to know why he interfered and what does Vince McMahon feel about all this. Vince and Sting, together in the same ring, that is a very good possibility tomorrow night on Raw. That could actually happen. And if it does, it would be something that I honestly never thought we would see. Where does that leave Randy Orton? Well, I think obviously he'll probably be on Raw tomorrow night, and now we've got a whole bunch of questions that we need to have answered as far as who is in charge now. And what's the meaning of all of this? Is Vince McMahon going to come out on Raw and act disappointed that his kids lost control of the company because he was the one that put them in that position to begin with? Is Vince McMahon going to be secretly happy about it and he's going to take control himself, which eventually will set up the return of Triple H and Stephanie, leading to whatever power struggle and match they might have at WrestleMania 31? Does Vince appoint somebody completely new to run Raw? Does he say, okay, let's wait a little while, give me a couple of weeks to think about it, and in 2 weeks on So-and-So Raw, I will announce the new general manager and build this thing up to get a rating? I saw an incredible advertisement, I think you all did, during Survivor Series, that Stone Cold Steve Austin's podcast is going to be on the WWE Network. I've been wondering why they've been plugging that podcast on Raw lately. Well, Stone Cold is actually going to have Vince McMahon on as a guest, and they're going to play the podcast on the WWE Network. Now, on one hand, I think that's awesome. On the other hand, is this thing really going to be legit? Is Austin really going to ask him everything? Because if you've listened to Austin's podcast before, he doesn't hold back. It's pretty fucking hardcore, and he uses some very colorful language on that thing. So either way, it's great for Stone Cold and his podcast to be associated with WWE and to have an episode on the network. That's only going to add to his viewership. And we've heard rumors about Stone Cold as well. Is Stone Cold a guy that could come in and fill a GM role? He's very entertaining in that role. We know he really can't wrestle anymore. And if he's going to come back and be a semi-regular character on TV in the future, what other role could he have? It seemed like a GM or an authority role would be the perfect thing for him. So there's a lot we don't know. We don't know what direction they're going to go in. We don't even know if they're going to have somebody in charge. Who has to say somebody has to be in charge? Back in the 80s, did you see Jack Tunney coming out to the ring every single week on TV and cutting a promo about what you're going to see throughout the show? No. You don't necessarily have to have an authority figure, so it'll be interesting to see what direction they go in, whether they bring in someone new or if it's going to be a heel authority or a babyface authority. We have no idea. You can only assume, however, that this will eventually lead to Triple H and Stephanie coming back into the fold somehow. Now, like I said before, the John Cena stipulation is very interesting. If he's the only one that can let them back in, then I don't know how they're going to come back in, but you know that they're going to at some point. And maybe they can make their presence known in the John Cena-Brock Lesnar match. I don't know. Maybe they interfere in that thing or do something to help keep the belt off of Cena, because Cena is a whole nother debate. I guess maybe tomorrow night on Raw we'll get an idea of when the Brock Lesnar and John Cena match is going to happen. Hopefully we will know after tomorrow night if we should expect this at TLC or if we should expect this at the Royal Rumble. Once we know, we can start talking about that in the outcome and what the fuck is going to happen. But until then, let's just wait and see, and why don't you guys just soak in and enjoy the Cena loss from tonight. As far as the rest of Survivor Series goes, wasn't the greatest, wasn't the worst either. I do have to say I was a little bit disappointed in the Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt match. I thought the match itself was great. Everything was awesome throughout the match, but I didn't like the finish because there was just too much bad blood involved. This was just a regular match. You kind of had a feeling that this was going to be some sort of a DQ or count out or schmaz or something setting up the gimmick match at the next pay-per-view, and that's exactly what we saw. As a matter of fact, they even announced the match at the next pay-per-view between these two guys. It's going to be a TLC match at TLC, Bray Wyatt versus Dean Ambrose, where anything goes, and they set that up tonight where Dean Ambrose, quote-unquote, buried Bray Wyatt. He dropped an elbow on Bray, threw a table in the ring, and then went out to the outside of the ring and grabbed more tables and more chairs and proceeded to completely bury Bray Wyatt underneath all of these tables and chairs. And then he even went as far as to get a giant ladder outside of the ring, put it inside the ring, climb up to the top. All of the fans expect to see this crazy spot, and then he just stands there and his music starts playing and it's over. I think next pay-per-view's match between the two of them will be much better because there's no rules and no bullshit to have to worry about. Tonight was kind of a letdown. I still thought the match was good. I just wasn't a fan of the ending. Big news in the tag team division as well. As we suspected, Mizdow did win the tag team titles. Now, I liked this and I also hated this. On one hand, I liked it because Damien Sandow has never held a title in the WWE, so he gets his first belt tonight. He's tag team champions with The Miz. I think the reason WWE gave these guys the titles is because of how over Damien Sandow has been in this stunt double type of character. So them winning tonight, and I believe Sandow even got the pin, I thought was great. The crowd popped hard for it. But what I have a problem with is that it appears that this is just a way for these guys to eventually feud with each other. They are using the tag team titles as a way to split these guys up right off the bat. After the pinfall that The Miz grabs both titles, starts celebrating, Damien Sandow appears to have no problem with this, but you know that's going to change. They've even teased some tension between the two of these guys on recent Raw and SmackDown, so you got to think that this is eventually going to lead to some problems in the tag team. They're going to break up, they're going to feud, and hopefully that will launch Damien Sandow over as a big babyface because he's done wonders for his career in this dumb, hokey gimmick and storyline that they have put him in with The Miz, and I think it's given him a second chance. However, these guys feuding with each other and the eventual program that they're obviously going to have is done at the expense, I think, of the tag team titles, and they could have just as easily left the titles on a stable tag team rather than put it on them just so they can wind up feuding together. And you know what's going to happen. That's how they're going to lose the belts, right? Either The Miz or Sandow is going to get fed up with the other one. They're going to turn on one or the other in the match, and they're going to lose the titles, you know, to the Matadors or to the Usos or Rhodes Brothers or whatever. I think it could even happen as early as this Monday night. Whenever they do it, it seems like it's inevitable. We also have a new Divas champion. As expected, Nikki Bella did beat AJ. AJ could be on her way out of the WWE. Those rumors are still out there, so I guess we'll find out soon enough. But in a little interesting twist, it almost looked as if Brie Bella turned heel. Now, this could either be an actual heel turn, or she could just be setting up Nikki and turn on her since she has like 1 day left in being her personal servant. She could turn on her on Raw, and since AJ could be out of the WWE, this could be a way to set up Nikki in a brand new feud. So that could be the direction they're going, but Brie had a pretty big smile on her face after AJ lost the title. As a matter of fact, Brie slapped a big fat kiss right on AJ's face, which was awesome. Nikki Bella comes up from behind and gets the pin and wins the title, and Brie seemed happy about it. So I guess we'll have to see where they go from here, but as expected, the newly turned heel Nikki Bella did wind up winning the title, and we kind of saw that coming. What else am I missing about Survivor Series? There was a Divas elimination match, right? I don't even remember who won that. It must have been Natalya, because I remember looking at it and watching Tyson Kidd celebrate like an asshole, so it must have had something to do with her. Also, Roman Reigns did another via satellite promo tonight at Survivor Series announcing that his return date should be in about 1 month, so I'm guessing that they will have him return at TLC. That would be fine. I kind of thought they might hold him off to the Rumble, but it looks like he's ready to go, and they're going to start writing storylines for him, and he'll be back before the holidays, it looks like. So good for him. I'm glad that he's going to be okay. Hopefully the WWE can resume his push, and maybe that little break was just what Roman Reigns needed, and if everybody was happy to see Ryback back, maybe we'll be happy to see Roman Reigns back, and this guy can be launched the way we all think he will be. And also, what appeared to be an impromptu tag team title match, Slater Gator, is that actually their fucking name? Heath Slater and Titus O'Neil, Slater Gator. They took on Adam Rose and the fucking Bunny. Yeah, in the very first ever Survivor Series, you had Hulk and Andre, now you got the fucking Bunny and Adam Rose. Wonderful, and apparently these two aren't getting along. There's tension between Adam Rose and the Bunny. Does anybody out there, let me ask you, truthfully, do you give a rat fucking hell if there is any tension whatsoever between Adam Rose and the Bunny? Who gives a fuck? Stupid ass shit. The Bunny and Adam Rose not getting along. The Bunny's hogging the spotlight and does the stage dive like Adam Rose likes to do, and he doesn't like it. And now they're going to have a match. They're going to have a feud. They're going to have a program. What, at the next pay-per-view? The Bunny versus Adam Rose in a TLC match? Fuck you, WWE. And fuck your Bunny, too. Like I give a shit. Like any of us give a shit. God, I hate that stupid character and that stupid angle. But anyway, I'm not going to rant and rave because I actually enjoyed Survivor Series for what it was, for the build-up that they gave us, and for this, meaningless pay-per-view that I was not looking forward to, and I thought was going to be a big fucking steaming pile of shit. It was actually not that bad. When the WWE wants to, they can still take us on a ride. All of the fans knew everything that was going to happen in the main event. We knew about Randy Orton. We knew about Sting. We knew something was going to go down, and the WWE tricked us a few times to where we didn't see it coming completely, and I applaud them for that. Thank you for keeping us guessing at least a little bit during the main event. And don't give me any of that, oh, good mic work, I saw it all coming. No, you didn't. You didn't see the Big Show shit coming, so don't fucking front. I will most likely be up here very late after Monday Night Raw because we should have a good idea of what we're looking at going into TLC and what sort of matches are most likely going to happen and what direction they are going to go with now that the Authority is no longer in power. So leave me all of your opinions and feedback on Survivor Series in the comments section below. I'd love to hear what you thought about it because I really did skim through it since I didn't really watch it live. I had to come home and kind of gloss over the pay-per-view. So if there's anything that I missed or anything I should have elaborated on more, I apologize. Please feel free to fill myself and the rest of my subscribers in on what I should have said in the comments section, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Have a great evening. Enjoy Monday Night Raw, and I will talk to you in a few hours. Peace.